Have you ever stopped to think about how the world around you is held together? From the buildings we live and work in, to the cars we drive, to the phones we use every day, one small but mighty invention keeps it all secure. The screw. Screws and bolts might seem simple, but their production is anything but. The journey from raw metal to a finished fastener is a fascinating one, involving cutting-edge manufacturing techniques, precision engineering, and centuries of technological progress. In this video, we're diving deep into how screws and bolts are made, their history, and why they are so essential to our modern world. So get ready, because today we're going to explore the intricate world of screws and bolts today on World Made. The story of screws goes back over 2,000 years. The earliest known use of screw-like devices dates back to ancient Greece around the 3rd century BC. Greek engineer Archytas of Tarentum is believed to have been one of the first to use screw threads, mainly for pressing olives and grapes. By the 15th century, Leonardo da Vinci sketched early screw-cutting machines, but it wasn't until the late 18th century that mass production became possible. With the Industrial Revolution in full swing, British inventor Henry Maudslay developed one of the first screw-cutting lathes, allowing for precise and consistent thread production. This was a game-changer as it enabled the standardization of screws and bolts for large-scale manufacturing. Fast forward to today, and we now produce billions of screws and bolts every year, using highly sophisticated machinery and materials. But first, what is the difference between a screw and a bolt? The answer is quite simple. A screw screws itself directly into a material, creating its own threads or mating with existing threads in the material, whereas a bolt needs to fasten into a nut through a non-threaded hole, securing two parts together. So technically, the same things can be called screws or bolts depending on whether they are screwing into a part with pre-existing threaded holes or bolting through something with a nut. Now let's explore the fascinating process. How exactly are screws and bolts made? The process can vary depending on the type, size, and material of the fastener, but most modern screws and bolts follow a general step-by-step process. Most screws and bolts start as steel wire rods. These rods are typically made from carbon steel, stainless steel, titanium, brass, or even aluminum, depending on the application. The choice of material affects strength, durability, and resistance to corrosion. Before production begins, the steel rods are cleaned with acid or treated with a phosphate coating to remove impurities and improve lubrication for the next steps. There are two main methods to shape screws and bolts: cold heading and hot forging. Cold heading. This is the most common method for mass-producing screws and bolts. The steel wire is cut to the correct length and then placed into a machine where high-pressure dies form the head of the screw or bolt. The process is called cold heading because it occurs at room temperature using extreme pressure instead of heat to shape the metal. Hot forging. For larger bolts and specialized fasteners, hot forging is used. The metal is heated to around 1,200 degrees Celsius, 2,192 degrees Fahrenheit, to make it more malleable before being shaped into the desired form using heavy presses. One of the most important features of a screw or bolt is its threading, the helical structure that allows it to grip and fasten securely. There are two primary methods for adding threads. Thread rolling. In this method, the blank, the unthreaded screw or bolt, is placed between two grooved dies which press and shape the threads without removing material. This method strengthens the metal because it compresses the grain structure rather than cutting through it. Thread cutting. For specialty screws or bolts that require a precise or custom thread, a cutting tool is used to carve the threads into the metal. While this method provides high precision, it is slower and weaker compared to thread rolling. To ensure screws and bolts can withstand high stress, they undergo heat treatment. The fasteners are heated to extreme temperatures and then rapidly cooled through quenching, either in oil or water. This hardens the metal, improving its tensile strength and durability. Some screws and bolts undergo further tempering, where they are reheated at a lower temperature to balance hardness and toughness, preventing brittleness. To protect against rust and improve performance, screws and bolts receive various coatings. Some common treatments include galvanization, coating the screw with zinc to prevent rust. Black oxide, a chemical treatment that provides mild corrosion resistance. Nickel or chrome plating, adds both protection and an attractive finish, often seen in decorative or high-performance applications. For industrial or aerospace bolts, special coatings like Teflon or cadmium plating are used to reduce friction and enhance durability. Before being shipped, each batch of screws and bolts undergoes rigorous quality control checks. Precision measuring tools, automated scanners, and even X-ray inspections ensure that each fastener meets industry standards. After passing these tests, the screws and bolts are packaged and sent to manufacturers, hardware stores, and construction sites worldwide. Screws and bolts are the invisible heroes of modern civilization. They are found in nearly every industry, from the largest infrastructure projects to the smallest electronic devices. Without them, the structures we depend on daily would collapse, vehicles would fall apart, and advanced technology would cease to function. Let's break down their crucial role in different sectors of society. One of the most critical applications of screws and bolts is in construction and infrastructure. Modern buildings, bridges, and transportation networks all depend on an intricate network of fasteners to maintain structural integrity and withstand forces from the environment. In the world of transportation, screws and bolts are crucial for the safety, durability, and performance of vehicles, whether on the ground, in the air, or even in space. The average car contains thousands of screws and bolts, securing everything from the engine components to the chassis, doors, and seats. Every time you drive a car or board an airplane, screws and bolts are silently working to keep you safe and secure. In electronics, from your smartphone to your laptop, tiny precision screws are essential for assembling circuit boards and delicate components. Without these small but mighty fasteners, the world as we know it would literally fall apart. Look around you. The chair you're sitting on, the car you drive, the home you live in, all of it is held together by the unassuming yet essential screw and bolt. These small but mighty fasteners make modern life possible, ensuring that our world stays secure, efficient, and ever-advancing. The next time you pick up a screwdriver or tighten a bolt, take a moment to appreciate the incredible engineering and history behind these essential fasteners. They may be small, but their impact on our world is massive. Thanks for watching World Made. If you have a topic you want explored, leave a comment and we will be more than happy to explore it.